Welcome back, students. I, Praveen Kishore, I am returned with the new question of 2022 itself. The question number 10, GS paper 1, Indian society, right? That came in 2022. The question is of 10 marks and answer is to be written in 150 words. What is the question? Given the diversities among tribal communities in India, in which specific context should they be considered as a single category, right? So what we should try to know what kind of diversity is there among the tribes of India, right? So tribes in India, they are not a unified category. As you know, around 8.08% of the total population of India, they constitute tribes, right? They are significant number. They are spread throughout India. The maximum population is in the central India, right? Now, if you see their diversity, then there is geographical diversity. If I talk about geographical diversity, then what you find? Anyway, geographical diversity, you will find tribes are found in Himalayan foothills, even Himalayan hills, right? They are found in the central area, that is the plateau area. Then we have islandic areas like Andaman Nicobar Islands. Then we have Lakshadweep, right? In these places also we have tribal population. Then there is demographic diversity. Demographic diversity, if you see demographic diversity, the smallest number is that belongs to Sentinelese tribe. There are 6 tribes in Andaman Nicobar region: Sompen, Jarwas, Sentinelese, etc. Sentinelese are the completely isolated tribes, and there had never been a proper contact with the outsiders. Only in 1974, Triloknath Pandit, right? He was able to connect with that tribe. After that, no one else could connect with that tribe, and it is said that they have been existing for 60,000 years in the isolated way, right? So their existence is completely isolated, and that dates to 60,000 years. Their number, though exact estimate is not there, their number is found to be somewhere around 135 to 500. On the other hand, if you see Bhils, their population is in millions, right? So there are tribes whose number is very small, and there are tribes whose number is very large, right? In northeastern region, there are so many tribes. These tribes have relatively lesser population. Central India tribes, they have larger population. So there is demographic diversity, right? Third is racial diversity, right? You will find Mongoloid breed, you will find Caucasian, you will find Astroloids, you will find Negroids, right? For example, if you go to Andaman Nicobar Island, you will find they are of Negrito race. Similarly, there is linguistic diversity. Now, when you look at the tribes, what you find that each and every tribe has its own language that is called as dialect, but tribal language does not have written script, right? There is cultural diversity. Each has different way of life. Culture means way of life, right? their food habit, their dress pattern, right, their rites and rituals, etc. That is there. Then level of evolution, this is very important. If you see, then what you find that all the tribes are not equal, they have evolved, right. Some tribes are simplest, right, as I said, Sentiles as the isolated tribes, so they are called tribal communities. Then semi-tribal communities, then acculturated tribes, then we have fully assimilated tribes. There are certain tribes who have completely identified themselves with the Hinduism, right. So we don't have to, in GS we don't have to go into that detail, but what we can say that there are different level of evolution of tribes, right. So this is another, right. So there are different types of diversity: geographical diversity, demographic diversity, racial diversity, linguistic diversity, cultural diversity, level of evolution, diversity in level of evolution, right. So naturally what you find, there is diversity, and this is what the question had asked, that given the diversities among tribal communities in India, in which specific context should they be considered as a single category? For the purpose of their development, we need to categorize them into a unified category, right? Unified category, that is we know as scheduled tribe, right? So what are the common criteria to be called tribe? You will find that these are economically and educationally backward. Most of the tribes are economically and educationally backward. They are hill and forest dwellers, right? They feel shy when they come in contact with the outsiders, right? Because they consider themselves as quietly distinct from rest of the population. They are mostly egalitarian society, right? Egalitarian. You will not find elaborate system of social stratification as we find caste system or class system. No such stratification system is there. A tribe is divided into clans and phratry, right? There is simple division of labor based on age and sex, right? There is no gender stratification also. If you go with the statistics on the sex ratio, you will find the sex ratio among tribes is far better than sex ratio among non-tribes in India. But the most important thing is that they have not been properly integrated into the nation mainstream. A nation develops when all its members, they participate in the economic development of the nation, right. But they are out of nation's mainstream. That means they have talent, but that talent we cannot harness, right. Now for example, sometimes it is said that why India is lagging behind in economic development, because 50% of our population, that is women, they are not considered to be appropriate for the workforce, right. They are kept inside the house, and therefore they are not able to contribute in the national development. That means each and every member belonging to every section of the society, every group of the society, every community of the society should have opportunity to contribute for the nation's development. This way they will be integrated in the nation's mainstream. Now we come to why we need to categorize them in a unified category. So purpose of categorization in a unified category called scheduled tribes, right? Two things are there. One is protect cultural autonomy, because if you intervene too much into tribal way of life, they suffer cultural shock, right? And they may separate emotionally isolate themselves from the rest of the society. So one thing is there, we need to protect their cultural autonomy, let them live their own life, right? And then we need to bring them into nation's mainstream. So that is very much essential for the integration of the society, that is national integration, right? So this is the reason that they are put into a unified category. Now what we have said, they are put into unified category, but there is a lot of diversity, and government has to take initiative to maintain their cultural autonomy and integrate them into the mainstream of the nation. So therefore what happens, there are constitutional provisions, right? If you see, the first is tribal punch seal, right? In 1955, 5 principles were laid, right? That is called as tribal punch seal, right? For example, in that, a tribe has to develop on the basis of their own indigenous intelligence, right? We should not force our culture on them. Means everybody has certain quality, tribal people also have certain quality, so those qualities should be improved, right? Then we should not try to govern them by outsiders. We should not evaluate the success through statistics, rather the improvement of quality of life. So this is tribal punch seal 1955, right? Then what we did, legislative and administrative reservation. For example, in parliament, in legislatures, right? In government jobs, bureaucratic jobs and other jobs, reservation is given as a affirmative action, right? Then government gives special assistance in financing them and their program. Now to recognize their rights over land and forest, right? Because tribals identify themselves with the land and forest. Any attempt to take away their rights over land and forest leads to land alienation. Then we have a special multi-purpose tribal development blocks. Actually, earlier only tribal development blocks was there, but in 1962 it was renamed special multi-purpose tribal development blocks. Means these blocks are created on the basis of the unique requirement of the tribes that who are living in that area. Today you will find there are 507 tribal special multi-purpose tribal development blocks, through which what we do, we help emancipate tribes. So for the emancipation of tribes, for their integration into the national mainstream, to protect their cultural autonomy, this categorization is done, right? Now, this is definitely an explanation of this question. Now, if you want the transcripts of this complete model answer of this question, you can join this Telegram channel, Nice IS for Sociology, right? And you will get access to all the study material, all the model answers on this. So you can scan it and join the Telegram channel, right? Okay. So this is the question number 10 on tribes. Now we have concluded. As I am Praveen Kishore, faculty sociology, and I run my own institution, Nice IS, but in old Rajendra Nagar. Earlier it was being run alone, but today we have collaborated with IS Delhi Institute, ORN, and in the IS Delhi Institute premise, we will be conducting the sociology classes from 8th of June, right? Thank you.